demanding justice for January 6th detainees. This is, I would say, one of the proudest moments of this beautiful, mighty... I'm gonna try not to cry. When our forehead fathers created...
No ability to bail out, no ability to see their family, being mistreated and abused worse than we treat terrorists at Gitmo. Yet they have their hand over their heart every night at 9 o'clock and sing the national anthem. That's something I don't think any of us can fathom.
So we just heard a little clip from far-left prison abolitionist. What's this woman's name? She's tired of all this prison crap. No more. No more of this. So, yeah, sort of a shocker. A person involved in the U.S. government is doing a spectacle of some kind. So this is what she's talking about, is the people who are running around, tearing ass around the Capitol. And her and some other
perverts
put together this little photo op to express their outrage at the conditions that prisoners face in these, what would we call this, a country? Some of these people who were running around the Capitol, whenever that happened, I don't know, who cares? Some of them were arrested, and some of them are still in prison. So they held this thing to be like, these people are facing unfair... Have you guys noticed that our prison system is out of control? Now we're upset about this. So just to give you a little bit of context before I play this next clip, the U.S., and we'll talk more about this because this is... The U.S. has the highest incarceration rate of any country. There's something like 2 million people in prison in the U.S. right now. So I'm not sure why they opened this up to questions from the press, but here we go.
Yes, ma'am.
Congressman, do we have an estimate right now of how many detainees are still in the D.C. jails right now?
The latest is between 40 and 50.
Somewhere between 40 and 50. But I would like to talk about what I saw on video footage when I was in the jail.
Oh boy, you gotta love that. How many people? Between 40 and 50. But I would like to move on really quickly from the fact that the U.S. has the highest incarceration rate in the world. Over 7 times out of Canada, France, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, like every other country. And I'm just now getting interested in it because of the fact that it will win me some political points for these 40 people who are in jail.
Somewhere between 40 and 50. But I would like to talk about what I saw on video footage.
I want to brush right past that. I want to do what's called a brush. Are you familiar with this? This is a political term that I've learned. I'm going to do the brush on that one. I'm going to deadlift my way right past that one like I'm in a CrossFit class. I don't know what, did they have to open it to questions? Because you know one of these press
Perverts
is going to ask that. You know? And then this whole thing is going to be even more clearly absurd than it already is. Oh, we're just now taking an interest in prison situation in this country because 40 of the 2.12 million people.
Imagine a group of men being held in jail with no idea of when they're going to go to court, no ability to bail out, no ability to see their family, being mistreated and abused.
Why would they do a press conference like this?
It means these people are perverts.
Really? Wow. She's like, imagine, these people can't see their families. They're being mistreated. 1 in 9 men will go to jail in the United States. If you're a black male, 1 in 3. 1 in 3. Get a lot. So she's like, could you imagine? Well, I think the 1 in 9 or the 1 in 3 if you're black. Yeah, they can imagine. They can imagine. Can you imagine? These 40 people can't see their family. What about the 2.12 million who are in jail right now? Well, I'm hungry. I guess I remember that picture that was going all over the news where AOC was crying in front of that detention camp. I guess this is her version of that. But she's like crying outside of the cell of that guy who like stole that podium from...
And to be clear, it's not just the inmates that have suffered. as Marjorie and I toured the DC jail, some of the conditions were so astounding. I asked more than one guard, have you ever worked in a facility that had these kind of problems?
So that guy just speaking there, his name is Louis Gomer. You can look this guy up. This guy is a dip nut. This guy's a crazy person. But this guy was a judge for a long time. Could you imagine, like, this absolute bonehead idiot is like, I'm gonna decide your fate.
I'm gonna decide your fate. I'm gonna decide your fate. I'm gonna decide your fate.
When they're being force-fed gluten food and they have celiac disease, and so the food that they eat makes them sick every single day to the point where they will go without days.
I looked all over, you know, this woman's campaign crap. I could not find prison diet concerns before this. Shocking revelation.
I'm gonna decide your fate.
Where they are abused, where they are ridiculed, where they are mocked because of their political beliefs and because of January 6th and because of the color of their skin. So there is a two-tier justice system, and these are the things that need to end.
There's a two-tiered justice system in this country, and white business owners are on the bottom of it. That is, I mean, even that this is supposed to be a moronic spectacle, even within that frame, there's a two-tiered justice system, and these 40 Trump supporters. You know, I get it's sort of weird to be on stage, especially like this is kind of a weird little small stage, in front of a bunch of people, very awkward. But what is this guy doing back here?
Illegal action on January 6th to be treated fairly.
What are you looking at, buddy?
They are
You're
deserving of
literally
equal
just
justice
looking at the
under
back
the
of a
law.
guy's head.
They
That's come on.
certainly deserve to be treated fairly.
Look around,
and
look
equal
down.
to other rioters.
I said look down right now, you little. Look down, you little turd.
Across this country in 2020. My question is this:
What are you looking at?
Mr. Biden, Attorney General Garland, why are you so interested
means these
in
people are
removing the laws of these
perverts.
folks?
This guy said in an interview in April of 2020. Oh, he said that a powder has been developed that, when mixed with water, quote, is being used in Germany as a mist. Healthcare workers go through a misting tent, going into the hospital, and it kills the coronavirus completely. So for this video, for this little of a video, I looked a little bit, because, again, we all kind of know, like, yeah, prison stuff is pretty bad here, but the details are far more bizarre and interesting. And there's definitely a story here with this graph, basically. U.S. state and federal prison population 1925 to 2019. So we go to 1925, you keep going all the way to 1972, maybe 1976 or 1974-ish. Kind of not too bad. Then we start getting into the 80s and the 90s. Look at that. Holy moly. Holy moly. Woo! There's definitely a story here. A lot of people interpret this. A lot of people extrapolate different crap from this. Because look at this. A lot of people try to figure out what's going on here. The best explanation that I've heard is that this big steep climb here is because the economic stuff started really not working out for a lot of people. And I think that is the story here. Why are so many people... Why are we leading? We're really leading. We're really leading, being real leaders in tossing people face first into prison. It sounds like this.
That is my own sperm.
To me, this is kind of like a political choice that we've made. Honestly, no joke here. Is that it's, hey, we could, you know, look at people who are desperate, you know, can't find jobs and all this crap. Try to fix that. Or I was in prison for a long time, and my cellmate sounded like this. I love this. This is sort of like the Alec Baldwin interview. It's like, when things get legal.
Do you feel guilt?
No, no. I feel that there is. I feel that someone is responsible for what happened, and I can't say who that is, but I know it's not me.
I'm gonna decide your fate.
You know, when things get legal, I'm not gonna mess around. All bets are off when it gets legal.
Present them. You see, that's a political bias in the court. Let me go further. I'm not involved in anyone's cases here, and I'm not defending any of the actions that happened at the Capitol, nor will I, because as I said before, I didn't like it, and I don't agree with it. I objected to electoral college votes, but I wasn't a part of the riot and was shocked when it happened.
I want to be clear here, okay, that these are political prisoners and blah, 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 and all this, and keep this coming. But I have no liability. I have no legal liability there, okay? They were singing the national anthem, these people, but they're disgusting legally. Okay, when it comes to me getting in trouble, personally, I've never even seen that. I don't even know what that is.
And let me say this too, because we've been accused of saying, oh, you're out to help the white. I didn't know what skin color everybody in the DC jail had until I got there.
I want to let you. I had no idea. Honestly, I thought they was all gonna be black guys.
Could you imagine if this guy walked into that DC jail and it's like all black Trump supporters who were in there?
He's like, oh, well, I got a dentist appointment to go to.
I mean, this is so goofy, partly because I was reading the story about how there were tons of complaints about this jail before this, and they were like,
Oh, we don't, those people don't deserve, they're criminals.
and then these people, when they can score a few political points, they're,
This is an outrage. These people can't get their gluten-free fig Newtons. What are we gonna do?
it would be awesome if through this experience, you know, these guys being in prison, these boneheads who were tricked, you know, into doing this. It'd be interesting if, I don't know, they like encounter some other prisoner, or just the experience itself of being thrown in the hole like this.
They're like, you know what? This is not right. This is not right. What's going on here? People should not be in prison like this. They talked to some guy in the cell next to them.
They found out he like went to prison for armed robbery or something because he couldn't find a job or whatever. They're like,
Something's got to change. We need to implement some kind of social programs, or maybe the economics of this needs to change or something.
I'm gonna decide your fate.
that's the other thing. This gaggle of doofuses, this gaggle of morons who did this press conference are not going to follow through on any of this. This is just strictly spectacle. But I'll read you this from the New York Times. Amid these expressions of outrage, it was never mentioned that the jail had been plagued with problems before the January 6 defendants got there. 6 years ago, for instance, the Washington Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights and Urban Affairs issued a report calling the conditions at the jail appalling. So all these activists and lawyers or stuff have been actually doing real work on this, and then these idiots come out. They're like, this is an outrage, right, morons who we trick? Now that I'm done with the press conference here, I'm gonna wander back to my office and play with my tuchus the rest of the day. Sounds like this. Thank you. So that Matt Gaetz guy is here too, of course. They're letting him tag along, but he's a little bit hard on the eyes, that guy. So we're gonna he says all the same crap. Okay. That's him. That's a recording of him.
I'm ready to sell my mother into slavery.
You know, also during that time, from that graph that we looked at this explosion of imprisonment of people, they throw them in the hole and it sounds like this. And then they go like this while they're in jail. You know, private prisons, all of these creeps support private prisons, but especially the guy who these people support, the great Donald Trump. Following the inauguration of President Donald Trump in January 2017, however, the administration immediately shifted course to robustly support private prisons. The fact that private prisons have serious documented flaws raises questions as to why the Trump administration is so eager to support them. It is noteworthy that the pro-Trump PAC and the president's inaugural committee
have benefited from the private prison industry's financial contributions. Uh-oh. Private prisons, that should not be. Why does that exist? There's only one way to describe that.
It is disgusting. It is disgusting.
And?
That's really weird.
Okay, there is one more clip from this that I think is really funny. I mean, this whole thing is obviously just like I don't know what, like a grade school play level of absurdity. I like that the press, these press perverts, it's sort of funny because they kind of, I think that a lot of them know, like, yeah, this is a goofy little performance. Let's have a little fun with these people. That's what I would do. If I had to go and cover this thing for some stupid, decrepit paper, I'd be like, I'm gonna have some fun. So some of these people have a little fun with these guys, and check this out.
Yes, Gates or Miss Green, what about the treatment of the Capitol police officers on that day? I mean, I was down here that day, not too far from here. We saw police officers who had been bear sprayed in their eyes and were blinded by many of these January 6th defendants that you are now, drawing attention to. So I don't remember you holding a press conference about the treatment of the unusually cruel treatment of Capitol police officers.
You may not remember a particular press conference about police officers, but I have made many public statements and cried out against all violence against police officers.
That's great. She's, I've cried out many a night. I've cried out into the wind, into the abyss. I've cried out into the middle distance. Okay, so you don't know nothing. That's exactly what I would have done in this press conference. Is like, how can I trick them into just like saying hamina, hamina, hamina? So you have to support the police. You gotta support those police. So this guy's like, but these people were hurting the police. So you're supporting hurting the police? You're some reporter, who probably like wants to do good stories or whatever. You're sitting there, you wishing you were doing real investigative journalism or some crap, You're sitting there for 40 minutes listening to these brain-dead zombies drone on about Christ knows what. And then you have all this time, you're like, ooh, I came up with a funny idea. I'll just put a little stick in the wheel for them really quick. That'll be funny. Then I'll go get a cinnamon roll. I would have done it more overtly, though. I'd be like, oh, yeah, Margie, so it says that a lot of these guys were spraying the police with a bear crap and then beating them all around the head. So what you're saying is that you want people to hurt the police and you hate the police and you want to defund them? It says, that's what I'm getting. It says it. I wrote it here. I wrote it right here, so there we go. Congratulations to that guy. He just wanted to
make pee-pee
on the press conference, and that's pretty funny. And he did a good job. And there you go. A moronic waste of time. And these people just hanging out and doing nothing. Except for Matt Gates, who's like probably doing
perverts
stuff. But there we go, guys. And you know what it is. Today is Friday when I'm uploading this, so
Uber cars.
okay.
Uber cars.
Thank you. And bye-bye. Hey guys, you're only getting a fraction of the weekly shows. If you want a new motherfucking episode every day, subscribe on Patreon for as little as 2 bones. You get the patron-only Tuesday and Thursday shows, the Book-a-Blega show where we look at important books, and the goddamn weekly behind-the-scenes show. And for only 25 bones, you could become a producer and get your name up here. Look at these people. These people make this show possible. If it wasn't for them, nothing. We don't have a show. We got nothing, and it's garbage. And we have to just leave. We have to just basically walk away. And we don't even really know where we're walking. That's the truly troubling part about all this. But please, become a patron today for as little as 2 bones, or 5 bones is another level, or 10, or you go the full 25 and you get up here. Big special thanks to these people. Love you guys so much.
I think that it's the single greatest political unforced error I've ever seen. The man was elected basically to not be Donald Trump and to also be somewhat moderate.
In 2022, is America the best place to be a conservative? Republicans are energized after a series of missteps from President Biden, from his chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan to the rising inflation crisis. As the Republican Party battles to find its ideological perspective after the Trump presidency, they enter into the midterms with fertile ground. To discuss the conservative movement in America, I'm joined by the author and podcast host, Ben Shapiro. What do you think is the greatest threat to American democracy today?
There are a couple of threats that I think are truly frightening right now in the country. Threat number one is this belief that power is all that matters, and who wields it or how it is wielded is not nearly as important as the fact that it exists and must be wielded because the cause is just so great. And that's truly frightening. The willingness to essentially activate anybody in any position in order to push forward a particular agenda that is very anti-individual freedom, very anti-individual choice. That's a frightening thing. And then there is the general kind of polarization of society because we have such different views of what society should be. There used to be a belief in the United States that on a fundamental level we all sort of wanted the same thing, we just had different ways of getting there. I'm not sure that obtains anymore, and that's what you're seeing right now in this vast divide between, for example, the ethics of New York and the ethics of Florida, or California and Texas. And at the federal level, that bodes really ill. It's fine. States can think differently if they want to. But at the federal level, if the federal government has all sorts of powers, pick one side or the other, and then implement that top-down via the administrative state or through a straight temporary majority in the House, for example, that's going to lead to an awful lot of conflict.
Are you surprised by Joe Biden's progressive agenda?
I am. I mean, I think that it's the single greatest political unforced error I've ever seen. The man was elected basically to not be Donald Trump and to also be somewhat moderate. And people thought they were electing, effectively speaking, a temporary corpse to just not be Trump and then give way to whatever came next. And that's what Biden campaigned as, right? He campaigned as the anti-Bernie Sanders. And then he got into office, and it dawned on him that he had a majority in the Senate, although it isn't really a majority. It's a 50-50 split, and the only reason it's split 50-50 is because Trump foolishly intervened in Georgia and tossed 2 of those seats to the Democrats. So he had this extraordinarily fragile majority in the Senate, a very small majority in the House, and suddenly Joe Biden decided that the mandate for his presidency was not to restore normalcy or go back to some sense of decency or status quo ante. Instead, he was there to be a transformational president. He started putting forward all these FDR, LBJ, Bernie Sanders-like plans, and that was always bound to fail. The American people weren't in favor of that. They really have not been in favor of that ever, and they certainly are not in favor of it right now, not with 50 seats in the Senate. 2 of those seats shouldn't have even been in Democratic hands. He got another 2 seats in West Virginia and Arizona at a minimum that are not going to vote in favor of that sort of stuff, and Joe Biden pressed forward with it anyway. It's asinine. It's political malpractice.
How effective do you think he's been in implementing that agenda? How competent are they?
I mean, they're dramatically incompetent. That's the part that's truly insane to me. Now, the truth is that when it comes to spending proposals, Joe Biden could get probably 55, 60% of what he wanted simply by parceling it out and doing it individually. Build Back Better is just a giant agglomeration of nonsense, but there's some stuff in there that's individually popular, and everybody acknowledges that if he did it on a bipartisan basis, he'd be able to get it done. I mean, he was able to get done a $1 trillion infrastructure bill, and he was able to do that with a certain amount of bipartisan support in the Senate. But he has decided that that's not how he wants to govern. That's the part that's really incredible. And then he's trying to cram it down via the administrative state, and that's been a failure in large measure as well, because it turns out the administrative state is still, thank God, bounded by the terms of the enabling acts that those administrative agencies were created under. And that means that you can't just do stuff because there is a 4-letter acronym for a government agency that can do whatever it wants.
To a British audience, it might surprise people that Joe Biden is historically unpopular, and particularly his vice president can be put in the even more unpopular category. To British people, that might be interesting because Donald Trump was sort of painted to us as the most divisive and most radical president America has had in decades. How would you describe Joe Biden's presidency so far to British audiences?
I think that everybody who has been watching would describe it as a disappointment. If you're a progressive, you're disappointed that he hasn't delivered on his promises. If you're a moderate, you're disappointed that Joe Biden swiveled dramatically away from moderation. And if you're anybody else, you are disappointed that Joe Biden didn't fulfill what his chief promise was. When he came into office, he said that he wanted to be a unifier. And this was his shtick. In his inaugural address, he talked about how we need to unite the country. We've been so divided. We've been so polarized. And I said at the time, that's a nice message, but it can mean two separate things. You can achieve unity by saying, you and I agree to disagree, but we are unified in certain sort of broad, overarching goals, and we're going to agree to leave each other alone. That's one way to achieve unity. It's a friendly way of
This is the third.
Huh. Oh, I've seen that before. Ooh, I saw that in 2016 before.
How the hell?
Oh my
Holy
god.
damn,
I've
that
seen
looks-
those.
I don't think Riot are ever going to make another AD carry again. I think AD carries as a general concept are just a really outdated idea in League, and you can kind of see this in the way that Riot's been releasing marksmen over the past, I'd say about 2 years, maybe even 3, but if you scroll down, have a look at the marksmen that Riot have released in the past 3 years. We have Zeri, Akshan, Zamira, Aphelios. All these champions are not typical quote-unquote ADC champions. I'd say they're more AD caster champions. You could maybe make the argument that Kai'Sa is a typical ADC champion, but you even see now with her crown build, where she just pokes with W, is becoming way more popular than her typical ADC build. Kind of just proves that point that ADCs are kind of just outdated. Back around season 2 or 3, the holy trinity of AD carries was Graves, Ezreal, and Corki. And the reason that these 3 champions stood out so much on top of every other AD carry is that they had some form of self-peel. They could fend for themselves, they weren't really just stuck with a support who had to babysit them all game. You compare them to
Praise Jesus, guys. Praise the Lord, Christ, Allah. Okay? Thank you so much. Lordy, lordy, I'm over 40. If you guys don't know, I live in the state of great broadcasters, Alex Jones, me, and in the next few days, I may have no power. There's a good chance I may have no power, and frankly, will freeze to death. So I want to pack as much as I possibly could into this episode.
Look at that. That is a frickin' predator right there.
Thank you. Well, guys, very exciting. Seems like World War III is brewing, okay? World War III. They're calling it. By the way, this episode is sponsored by NerdWallet.
Purr. My cock and balls. My balls. Weird. Who plays Samira? Burger? Burger? Bro, can these support players play a normal fucking champion? What the fuck is going on? To a fucking first time Heimerdinger, got an Oriana.
All right, guys.
No, it's actually not. That's just there because this goddamn site.
Look at that. That is a frickin' predator right there. That is a frickin' predator right there.
World War III is a brewing. Ukraine, Russia, United States, UK, all these fools.
Right here, President Biden sending to Eastern Europe as Russia's military builds up forces along the Ukraine border. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom.
That is a frickin' predator right there.
As the Pentagon gets ready to respond to possible military action by Russia. Breaking news out of the UK.
That is where a new government report says Vladimir Putin is looking to install a pro-Russian government in Ukraine.
This morning, President Biden weighing a new military operation to counter Vladimir Putin.
The United States government wants to go to war because of the fact that everything is going well here.
2 members want the banned books burned.
So we need to start looking abroad for other problems to solve. There's a little bit of a problem, which is that nobody wants this. It's not popular. This is from Newsweek, just days ago. Fewer than 1 in 6 Americans want U.S. soldiers in any Ukraine-Russia war. So the U.S. media is kind of kicking this into gear. You know, they're going like this.
That is my own sperm.
What? Oh, less than 1 in 6 want this? We gotta get something going here.
Check this out. This is how much no one wants this.
And so people like Karl Rove and all of these other rhinos want to send 18-year-olds like my son to go fight a war against nuclear Russia so that they can defend Ukraine when they aren't doing anything about our own southern border. And if our military goes anywhere, it should be at our southern border.
So that's what appears to be going on here. You got the United States trying to get a little war going. People are like, we're not into it. We don't like it. Then the United States says,
everyone's scared. Everyone's scared.
Nobody's into it. Nobody's feeling it. And then you get moments like this. This is from C-SPAN. C-SPAN, many people call it, to save time. This is like something out of Dr. Strangelove or something. This clip is hilarious, so I will just play portions of it. This guy, what's this guy's name? Ned Price. He's a spokesperson for the State Department in the United States. And this guy, Matt Lee, who's doing some journalism. He's doing some of this.
Everyone's scared.
He's doing some of this.
I'm calling bluff. I'm calling bluff.
And he's demanding that they
take the towers down now.
So check this out. This clip's amazing.
So you said actions such as these suggest otherwise. Suggest meaning they suggest they're not interested in talks and they're going to go.
Oh, fuck.
What action are you talking
Goodbye.
One, the actions I've just pointed to. The fact that Russia continues to engage in disinformation.
Oh my God, brothers.
Have they actually done it?
What we know, Matt, is what I've just said, that they have engaged in this activity, in this planning activity. But let me because obviously this is not the first time we've made.
Is that the move, just to abandon me
reports
and get nothing?
public. You'll remember that just a few weeks ago.
I'm sorry, made what report public?
If you'll let me finish, I will tell you what report we made public. We told you a few weeks ago that we have information indicating Russia also has already prepositioned a group of operatives to conduct a false flag operation.
What the fuck is going
So
on?
that, Matt, to your question, is an action that Russia has already taken.
It's an action that you say that they have taken, but I mean, this is like crisis actors, really? This is like Alex Jones territory you're getting into now.
What would you like, Matt?
I would like to see some proof that you can show.
So what's going on here is that the media in the United States and the State Department are saying that they found evidence that Russia is trying to do like a false flag.
Fucking damn it, man! What the fuck?
Russia is trying to come up with fake evidence that Ukraine is attacking them as an excuse that they can attack them. When you read that news, Alex, how does that make you feel?
When I look at this news, I start having an anxiety attack.
Then?
And it makes me cry.
And so this State Department guy, what is this guy's name again? Ned Price. He's coming out here, he's repeating this claim, and this guy, Matt Lee, this reporter, is just giving him the absolute hardest time, he is just giving this guy all kind of crap for this, which I find to be very good journalism, but even more so than that, very funny.
Matt, you have
that shows that the Russians are doing this. Ned, I've been doing this for a long time.
I know, that was my point.
As
You have been doing this for quite a while. You know that when we declassify intelligence information, we do so in a means. We do so with an eye to protecting sources and methods.
Is not going to fall.
That does so much.
I remember a lot of things. So where is the declassified information?
Gotta hand it to this guy, this Matt Lee reporter guy. So he's a reporter for the AP. Ooh, if he thinks he's cool. I'm a reporter for the AP too. At Partment, which is where I record this. I am a reporter for the AP at Partment. In my apartment where I record my YouTubes. But he's absolutely right. I mean, he brings up the point that you're not hearing a lot, which is that this is the exact same thing. And I'm an old decrepit fossil. And I remember this exact same stuff of like, oh, we have all these reports. We have all these reports. Before the Iraq War, we have all these reports. Oh, it turns out that was all made up. So this crabby old bastard Matt Lee, who I love here, what he's doing, he gives this guy a hard. There's other videos where he's just giving this guy a hard time too. So I don't know. Maybe he does this all the time. He's also a Bills fan, I don't know. Generally seems like a cool guy, but he's exactly right because this is what happened. I mean, this is the treatment that. Unfortunately, this is the treatment that these people should just be getting. What are you talking about?
No way.
I want to see all
No way
the
she
details.
does that.
Because you did this before, you little lying turd.
Okay.
I remember a lot of things. So where is the declassified information other than you coming out here and saying?
Matt, I'm sorry you don't like the format, but we have
It's not the format, it's the content.
It goes on like this for 5 minutes. Over almost 6 minutes of this guy, this reporter, like, can we see some evidence? Can you actually show
I gotta
us
clean up
something?
my
He's like,
gameplay.
this is the evidence. Me saying it.
Clean it up.
And he's like, that's not evidence. That's just you making a claim. He's like, hey, I'm sorry you don't... I'm sorry you don't like the format. It's very weird and very unfortunate to see because this is the exact same kind of stuff that was going on, in the lead up to the Iraq War. We read in the Patreon, become a patron, $2. In the Patreon, as some of these fancy guys say. We read this book, this history of the CIA book called Legacy of Ashes, and there's a long part in that book about how they came up with all this fake intelligence.
Nolan, calm down, bro.
The disaster, Iraq War.
Just
this
vibes,
is like the
gaming and vibes,
same
bro.
kind of stuff. Same kind of stuff. So this attitude from this reporter who's like, yeah, right. Yeah, right, you idiot. I can kind of sympathize with. Guys, we're in an information war. We're in an information war, and I can't do this anymore.
I'm scared.
I want to stop the show. I don't want to do the show anymore. I want to walk off into the ocean where I will live riding on the back of a turtle, maybe a dolphin. God fucking damn it. That's my favorite Alex Jones, the I'm about to quit Alex Jones. I think that's peak.
And this is Russia's ambassador to the United Nations addressing the UN Security Council.
Перемещение российских войск в пределах нашей собственной территории.
The deployment of Russian troops within our own territory has frequently occurred on varying scales before and has not caused any hysterics whatsoever. Troops and servicemen who are in their own areas of deployment and barracks where they were before, they were not actually on the border. This deployment of Russian troops in our own territory is getting our Western and US colleagues to say that there's going to be a planned military action and even an act of aggression. But the US ambassador speaks as if that act of aggression has already taken place.
So I played that clip because Russia is saying
they killed it.
We had troops like this before. Why are you freaking out now? Why are you being weird, man? Why are you being weird now, man? They say they talk like that. And the U.S. has been full of crap about this stuff before, so I don't know if I'm buying it. Guys, I don't know if I'm buying this. Guys, I don't know if I'm buying it. Guys, I don't know if I'm buying this. I don't know if I'm buying it.
Fuck the game!
We might have to.
Fuck the game!
And
this is something I have a lot. This is something I have a lot.
Do you see that E? That E was.
Okay. Me and Charlie are in agreement on this one.
It isn't.
All right, the other story, the other frankly putrid, some say, not me, the other putrid story is there's this trend that's been going on TikToks,
Don't ping me.
of course.
Don't ping me,
where all
bro.
great things, where all great art is found. TikTok. There's this amazing, beautiful, and just very compassionate trend that's going on now.
Oh.
Where people will leave a note. Where people will leave a note for their Amazon delivery person that says, "Hey, dance." I'm sorry. What?
Alright, too bad the rest of our team is inting.
You know I'm supposed to drop off packages. Dance, I said.
Inting.
And by the way, these people can leave bad reviews. Like Amazon is one of these companies that's like, the customer is always right, and if they leave a bad review, then you're shit. Like they're one of these whack job. They're one of these kind of companies, so these delivery drivers feel like a pressure to do whatever these customers say, so they don't get the bad reviews and all this crap. So these nut jobs, some say, not me, okay? I believe all people are beautiful, okay? Jesus said that, I believe. I believe the Lord made all people, okay? And all people are beautiful and holy. However, what kind of putrid, rat, decrepit, disgusting piece of puke would come up with this?
Damn.
I'm gonna force these people who make $0 an hour to dance for me. And then I'm gonna leverage that as content on my social media to get clicks. Are you insane? Are you people insane out there? This is from Vice. These workers who aren't paid to perform are also being turned into social media celebrities.
Bro! Oh my god, are you kidding me? Am I blind?
And feel entitled to leverage them into content. One such
And this
user
guy's
has an
getting
entire
solo.
playlist
What the
of driver dances. They are definitely playing that Q Lazarus song in the background while they're uploading that.
Bro, you guys have to be playing, man. What the
Quick
fuck?
message to the people out there who are putting together these playlists of these Amazon drivers. What's wrong with you?
Oh my god.
You nuts? Are you demented?
Hell overextended though.
Do you have dementia?
To be fair.
In that case, then I feel bad. Sorry. You would have had to fall through so many social contract cracks on this one to.
Are we? Is this for real, bro?
To think that this is a good idea, or to think that this is acceptable human behavior.
Are we playing?
First of all,
What the
these
fuck,
Amazon
man?
drivers, everybody knows they have
Jesus.
crazy quotas. They got to get to this house, then to this, and if not, they get in trouble. Okay? Their job is
Bro's getting
dangerous
one tapped
in a
by
lot of ways.
Trundle
And
as
of course, the
Malzahar.
most obvious
What?
one, even if you don't know that stuff, they don't get paid none of this. They get this. Oh, they don't even get that. They have to do it in a bag, from what I understand. And even if you don't get any of that, you're just like, I didn't know about any of that. I don't know how to read or something. Making someone dance for you. Making someone dance for you, it tends to be a little bit creepy. Dance for me. I ordered that $7 thumb drive. You dance for me. Take those TikToks down, you perverts.
What a pervert. What a pervert.
Take those TikToks down. Take those TikToks down. Take those TikToks down. I look into the eyes of the people who make these TikToks, making these Amazon drivers dance, and I say,
Look at that. That is a frickin' predator right there.
The crazy thing is these Amazon drivers are such good sports about this. Oh, he's doing the Douglas. 6.1 million views.
Ho-ho!
1 million. Hashtag ringcam. Hashtag Amazon driver. Unbelievable. Just you using these people for content, you perverts. I mean, big up to the Amazon drivers making the best of these perverts. These weird perverts.
Look at that. That is a frickin' predator right there.
Guys, leave these Amazon drivers alone.
What the fuck?
Leave these Amazon drivers alone, you morons.
You're a moron.
Let's go!
Well, guys, it is Friday. You know it. I know it. Just let's be honest about it. So, please, Get out there and cause some problems. Get out there and cause some problems, guys. But make sure to... Okay? Don't do this. Do this.
Cars.
After you do your...
Big old doinks.
Okay?
Toilets.
Bye-bye. Hey guys, you're only getting a fraction of the weekly shows. If you want a new motherfucking episode every day, subscribe on Patreon for as little as 2 bones. You get the patron-only Tuesday and Thursday shows, the Bookablega show where we look at important books, and the goddamn weekly behind-the-scenes show. And for only 25 bones, you could become a producer and get your name up here. Look at these people. These people make this show possible. If it wasn't for them, nothing. We don't have a show. We got nothing, and it's garbage. And we have to just leave. We have to just basically walk away, and we don't even really know where we're walking. That's the truly troubling part about
AFK or what? I'm not
But
watching.
please, become a patron today for as little as 2 bones, or 5 bones is another level, or 10, or you go the full 25 and you get up here. Big special thanks to these people. Love you guys. Love you guys so much.
No.
Why don't we just start by going through, like, so obviously Justin Trudeau is currently, he's in charge of the place. Why don't we just start there with Justin Trudeau and his party, and like, you know, what are they running on this election? What is
Huge road play.
They're basically running on a bunch of shit that they could have done when they got elected in 2019 and decided not to, and then they're just kind of trotting it out again and saying, hey, remember that, or actually, please don't remember that we promised that we were going to do all this stuff. Here's our platform.
So are they promising to do it, like, you know, we're going to get serious, we're going to do it this time?
Yeah. So, you know, top of the list is climate. They're basically claiming they're going to bring down emissions 40 to 50% below 2005 levels by 2030, net zero by 2050. Totally unclear how.
Jesus, man!
Like, the platform doesn't
What are
really
we
give any
doing?
information on how they're going to achieve it. They're just basically being like, trust us.
Well, I mean, they're Canadian, so I'm guessing it boils down to ask politely.
I guess. Tree planting, maybe. I don't know.
Wait, maybe?
They're also like focusing on jobs. 'Cause
Oh,
they've
shit!
been so
Hold on,
hampered,
hold on. Wait.
By COVID, so
Shield?
You know,
No,
they
you guys
basically
are so
said that the Liberal Party, like, quote, took on debt so Canadians wouldn't have to for the last year and a half, like putting billions of dollars into job loss, profit decline, you know, all of this during COVID. But
that's my
what
fault,
they basically want to do
Let's be honest.
is
I don't
extend
know.
COVID benefits into the fall and
3 for 5.
and start a program
Could be worse,
to invest in tourism.
This is I mean like good luck. Like people are afraid to go to the Six.
Yeah,
Like
I know,
the Six is all over the news. It's like I can't even compare it to Chicago 10 years ago. It's like I don't know. It's like I mean it's honestly like Poland in 1939 with what Drake is doing to his enemies.
It's true.
Gangs of certified lover boys are taking people's girlfriends all over Ontario, and now it's spreading to Quebec.
There is actually like there are gangs in Toronto, but it does like I would almost be kind of mad if I was in a Toronto gang because it's like everyone else who doesn't live in Canada, literally the entire world is just gonna be like, oh what? Like do you guys fight over like Montclair jackets?
I mean, it
Like, who
doesn't
gets
help
to
that
stand
every other
behind Drake.
It doesn't help that every other day the Toronto PD puts out pictures of guns they've taken from their street, and they're like fucking blunderbusses.
I love that shit. They're always capturing the guns they used to kill Mel Gibson's son and the Patriot.
Yeah.
No.
They grabbed the spear of Longinus off the streets of Toronto.
Exactly. They're capturing guns used by the British to fight like in the Khyber Pass and everything.
I mean, those guns. I mean, honestly, the blunderbuss or like the a British musket would be a higher caliber than some of this shit I see in Toronto. Usually what I see is like this was taken off the streets of the 6 today, and it looks like a Derringer that had been at the bottom of the ocean for like 1,000 years.
They have like their guns like you could like maybe use them to like fire a warning shot against like a rabbit.
50% chance it's gonna take 2 of your fingers off.
All I know is I'm going to get a Spanish tercio together and just take over the drug trade in Toronto.
No, yeah, I'm moving up to Montreal and I'm taking over the drug game with one starter pistol that I got from a track and field meet.
Yeah, if you figured out how to put bullets in a magazine, you would basically own that town. You'd be king of Toronto, king of the GTA.
Actually, I could do that in Toronto, but not Montreal, because as we established last time, there's a lot of really serious criminals in Montreal.
Yeah.
The Liberal
What the
platform
fuck,
is
dude,
pretty
steal
weak.
it.
One of the things that jumped out to me was
wow.
They've been
Fucking
talking
wow,
about
Diego.
Pharmacare.
You in all
adding
game and don't
Pharmacare
even
to
go
their
for the
platform,
steal. Like,
but
what the
it
fuck
is
you doing, bro?
suspiciously absent this round. And what they have replaced it
Bro.
with is recommendations for something called telehealth, which to me is a giant fucking red flag. Like, and by telehealth, what they mean is in the more rural, remote communities in Canada, instead of going to see the one family doctor, you will log on to Zoom.
That's like I don't think that's worked for like anybody. I don't think anyone's ever gotten a good diagnosis from like Zoom doctors. I did that early in the pandemic. I was having like I didn't know if I was having ulcers or not, and like it was like being on a Zoom call with me. I hated it. He was like on his phone and shit.
Oh, really?
He's playing like Candy Crush for doctors, where it's like pills instead
He's
of
playing
little
Dr.
candies.
Mario.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, it's like I don't care how like good you are at being a doctor. You're just not going to do a good job on Zoom.
No.
That's the. I mean, and it's also like, yeah, you're not getting the benefit of going to a doctor, but then you have to do a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Fucking no one wants to do that shit. No one likes that. We had a Zoom Thanksgiving. It was the worst moment of my life. I'm gonna relive it in the moments before I die, thinking about like what my cousin's internet sounded like, how I could hear her shit dialing into the grid. Do it with a doctor.
Yeah, as you're like,
unless he can like print out, like unless he can get.
Are
into
you
the
guys
printer.
kidding
No one has
me?
a printer anymore. They're making printers
Bro!
work for you. Unless he can get into the printer. and,
Holy
like,
shit.
print Prelude, no one's gonna do it.
Yeah. I just imagine like lifting my shirt up and like putting my armpit close to the lens and being like, "What? So
Bro,
what do you
holy
think this
fuck,
is?
this
What is it?"
Diego's useless.
Yeah, I'm
What
gonna
am I
put on a fucking
watching?
VR headset, be in VR chat with my doctor, and he's gonna be
Wait,
Miles
what?
T.
He
Prowler,
kills-
and like that's how he's gonna feel my balls. I'm gonna feel my balls with a glove that gives him feedback.
He
to
just
the face
flashes
with a
on
dual
me.
shock.
It's so cringe.
You're gonna put the haptic feedback pouch around your junk.
Yeah. He makes the troll face when he feels the lump.
I need to
That's how I found out I was
Should take
dying.
a climb, bro.
I would get you. I was like, just for like telehealth. Like you would get. I had a better diagnosis when I got like a pimple on my dick and ended up showing it to my dad, thinking I had AIDS, and he was just like, "Yeah, no, you don't. You don't have AIDS."
I also showed it to your dad. I was like, yo, I was fucking Will. Look at this. It's nasty. He needs some antimicrobial shit.
Oh man.
All right, so I mean, well, obviously, I mean, like, so the Trudeau and the Liberal Party. I mean, like, this is their. I mean, this is just Justin being Justin. You know, it's just like he talks a good game. About respecting other cultures and wearing their their costumes and skin color. But when it comes to respecting them, it's like, no, we're
Diego,
definitely still
man,
voting that
why are
pipeline
you
over
so
Greenland.
dog shit?
That's
What
exactly.
the fuck?
Yeah. And like the biggest, to me, the biggest issue in this election is housing, because because of the way Canada's housing market works with federally backed mortgages, it allows for housing prices to just go up and up and up while wages stay flat, and then the giant fucking all-consuming maw of debt gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
What the fuck
and
we
none
won
of the parties,
that really hard.
not even the NDP, have
We're gonna
like,
win this game, bro.
have like a coherent or serious plan to address this. Like basically,
That
Well,
was
and the other thing is
beautiful.
that
Good job.
20% of Canadian housing stock is owned by REITs, so real estate investment trusts, who own, finance, and sometimes operate commercial, like rental property. So it's bad, you know. And the Liberals' plan is to essentially like set up sort of housing. What they want to do is they want to get more people to own homes. So they want to make it easier for you to get a mortgage or a loan to buy a home, without kind of addressing the fact that the bar to home ownership is getting further and further away from normal people because the real estate market is
Let's
completely
go.
fucking unregulated.
I mean, like, that is the one part of the Liberals' platform I do think is, like, pretty good. Everything, like, whatever group of people we do a bad thing to, our leader will dress up like them.
Yeah.
Like, as an apology. No one else in the world does that.
Maybe this is a slight aside, but I was wondering, has the issue of the recent discovery that like every Catholic school in Canada is just a mass grave, is that affecting this election at all? Is anyone talking about this? 'Cause I feel like that went away pretty quickly.
Yeah, they're not
after
talking.
they discovered like the fucking Temple of Doom underneath like every old Catholic orphanage in Canada.
They're not talking about it nearly as much as you think they would be. You know, like the Liberal Party is making some sort of gestures to reparations, where they're still like blocking residential school survivors in court, like at the same time. So, again, it's like it's just impossible to take them seriously.
Well, I mean, as a result of that, I mean, like it seems like Trudeau is being pushed to the limit and could very well lose this election to the Conservative Party, led by a guy called Aaron O'Toole.
Yes.
I'm still pissed it's not Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah.
That was my hope.
What bad thing did Mr. Wonderful ever do to anybody?
Well, I mean, he
That
can't
would-
speak French.
Yeah, that was
Can't
it.
speak French. That's it.
That's the
He
only
can kill
bad
as
thing
many
he's ever
people as he
done.
wants with his boat, but you gotta
That's
fucking
right.
speak French.
You ever thought that person was Jay swimming?
So I mean, so let's talk about the Conservative Party and Aaron O'Toole. Like as far as sort of conservative Canadians go, like to describe to our American listeners, who is Aaron O'Toole and what is his Conservative Party look like?
Aaron O'Toole is kind of like, we have a lot of these guys here. I think Jason Kenney is one of them. A lot of the conservative pundits are kind of this type of guy, and they're like, if you could imagine like a wizard cast a curse on a giant batch of bread and created bread golems but didn't bake them long enough.
Whoa, dude.
Why are you being weird, man? Why are you being weird? I don't know if I'm buying it. Guys, I don't know if I'm buying this. I don't know if I'm buying it.
Fuck the game!
We might have to.
Fuck the game!
And
This is something I have a lot. This is something I have a lot of problems.
seems to be a little bit creepy. Dance for me. I ordered that $7 thumb drive. You dance for me. Take those TikToks down, you perverts.
What a pervert. What a pervert.
Take those TikToks down. Take those TikToks down. Take those TikToks down. I look into the eyes of the people who make these TikToks, making these Amazon drivers dance, and I say,
Look at that. That is a frickin' predator right there.
the crazy thing is these Amazon drivers are such good sports about this. Oh, he's doing the Douglas. 6.1 million views. 6.1 million.